this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed
to, right? That is exactly what we're about. You have to remember that. Look, whether we get 1 million views or we get 1, it is still Be More. Believe me, for real. I refuse to have a generation behind me not doing better than me.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I can't sleep at night knowing the next generation is going to do worse than I. That doesn't make sense.
Be more for real.
DMV and Be More.
Put the number 4 up. Show them the number 4.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we separate. But when you move outside of Maryland, we all the same.
We all the same.
Canada
But you gotta play your role.
Canada is Be More for real. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Welcome to BMore4Real podcast. Get ready for the realest conversations anywhere on the net.
Keep it locked with us.
Elvis.
Okay. I think I got it figured out. Put the ones in the chat if you can hear me. Put the ones in the chat. Put the ones in the chat if you can hear me. I appreciate you, big brother. Put the ones in the chat if you can hear me. Put the ones in the chat if you can hear me. I think we got it figured out. Be more for real. I think we got it figured out. Put the ones in the chat if you can hear me. Put the ones in the chat right now. Be more for real. I see the one. I appreciate it. I see the one. He said, you good now. Be more for real. Let's go ahead and clap it up for us, man. We in the building. Realest conversation on the internet. Rated R for reality. Brought to you by way of Realist Explosion. Do me a favor, if this is your first time listening, I want you to go ahead over and hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? We over 600 subscribers. We well on our way. You know what I'm saying? We well on our way. He said, let's go, OMG, Dan. Hey, let's go. We well on our way. Well, I appreciate that, too. I need the feedback because I'm working new equipment and stuff like that. So, of course, I'm going to need little tweaks here and there. So I appreciate everybody that's viewing. If y'all could let me know, if y'all don't hear me, let me know and do all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and get to Be More For Real moment. You know, my week it's been good. It's been great. I like to say that every day above ground is a good one. Again, I like to say that every day above ground is a good one. And of course, today we got a good one for you guys. I just want to say, on a Be More For Real moment, you know this is Be More For Real. So we're going to talk about the government side, the legal side, the social media side of things. We're going to talk about a lot of things in terms of this immigration thing. So don't feel left out and things like that. He said facts. I appreciate you, big brother. Don't feel left out if we don't include you. Matter of fact, if you have something to say about this segment, please put your comments in the chat. It's very well appreciated. But as I digress, you know, my week is always good. I'm working with the sports network, and we still don't have their cut on this channel just yet. But we're working with the high school highlights and the kids with the Be More Pod and the Be More Sports segment. And boy, are the kids dope, and they're a pleasure to work with. What we do have, though, is my man Eric on a Monday night sports show. And we're going to go ahead and run that clip real quick. We're going to go ahead and run that clip.
I'm going to kill these mofos for real. Give me a chance. It was more of a comment, right? They don't this as a passport.
But anyway, I gave y'all props. That's it. I'm done with y'all. That's it.
Oh, keep it coming. Keep it coming. It's not the end. It's not the end. V's a legend. Like.
So, I mean, sometimes stuff like that does cause a distraction. So, like, had him off his game. Like, he knew something was coming out. Like, pipeline, when he was kicking that ball, something else was going through his head. 16 therapists, you know, accusations, you know, from 2012 to 2016. God. Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, you know, the timing of it, but just for 16. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously,
I was like, who does that? Who does that? Who does that?
So, right, like people think you just go in there and boom, one cut, and you know it takes time and effort. And,
absolutely. You got to really invest into it. And
right.
You got to really like.
Tune in to Be More Sports Talk Live every Monday at 7 p.m. exclusively on the Be More Pod Network.
I'm going to kill these mofos for real. Give me a chance.
All right, we're going to go ahead and clap that up. Big brother Eric in the building. Y'all know Monday night sports show. Be More Pod. Make sure y'all go ahead and do y'all due diligence with that, man. Look, we got a lot to talk about tonight, and we got a lot to unpack tonight. Make sure y'all stay with me. I got some video. I got some videos for y'all to watch and all that good stuff. We're gonna go ahead over and drop this one. Shameless. Make sure y'all go ahead and watch Shameless. They actually coming up this Tuesday. They're dropping all of their episode recaps on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. On Friday. So let's go ahead and drop that Shameless. Let's go ahead and drop that Shameless clip.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Out there.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things.
Well, let's say names and get sued. Let's tell people names and get sued. Let's tell everybody. Let's just tell the whole damn truth.
I'm saying to the sisters and the brothers, because we're not going to be biased, because the same way these men out here cheating, honey, these women out here praying. P-R-E-Y. Period. You're not going to argue with me about it.
When they should be doing this praying.
Right.
He owed me his loyalty.
That part.
Hi, I'm Sherelle, known as Misty Blues. Hi, I'm Glenise, known as Lady Angelic.
Hi, I'm Felicia, also known as the Visionary.
I'm Monica, known as Moni Love. I'm Leah, better known as Songbird. And we're Shameless Unplugged.
You know, Monica, to address what you said, what you did to get them, you have to do to keep them.
That's exactly right.
On both ends, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. That's what I was saying.
I know where you're going.
You know what? I love what Erica said up there. She said tie him to the bedpost. My girl, that's my type of thinking.
We're going to need to start reading Erica stuff. We all know Erica.
And so let the church say amen.
Amen. What's the highest praise? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Hallelujah.
I was.
Shameless Unplugged. Another Be More Pod production. Coming to you live. Every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. Exclusively on the Be More Pod network.
I don't know if they're ready for this one.
That's a heavy one.
Whoa. Yes, sir. So Shameless up next, man. Shameless is up freaking next, man. Y'all know what's up, man. Be More Pod in the building, man. They say hello, fam. What's up, fam? We're going to go ahead and clap that up. Be More Pod. What's good, fam? What's good, fam? We got some great content for you guys. Let's go ahead and talk about tomorrow night show, Thursday night show. This is Be More Pod, the podcast, man. These are the guys that, that's my fam. Those are the ones I'm rocking with. Oh, which by the way, I know y'all was expecting Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi was supposed to be on as a guest today, right? Wi-Fi could not make it with us. We would love it if he could have made it with us, but he got some bigger moves that he's making with the kids, man. Shout out to Wi-Fi. We're gonna go ahead and shout out Wi-Fi. That brother be moving. So we're gonna go ahead and shout out Wi-Fi. And we know that, we know that Big Brother is out there making moves, and that's why we wanted to have him on. But unfortunately, he couldn't make it today. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, but we'll make it up another day, man. But coming up tomorrow, man, y'all already know what's up. It's the Be More Pod show. It's the funny, it's the exciting, it's the most entertainment that you're gonna get in Baltimore. Make sure y'all go ahead and check them out, like, share, subscribe. They got ways that you can help them out to keep on pushing the content out to the people. Make sure y'all check them out. We're gonna go ahead and run that clip.
His studio etiquette is amazing. Like even at 5, he already knew. Like, yeah, I want this like that. Move that right there. That's a gift. That's a gift. That can't be.
We got a video for Gwen Hilton. Y'all go ahead and run that video. Why pop these bottles? Pop the bottle, baby.
But you get up on the table.
I want you to get up on that table. That's
and you stop.
First of all, it was the facial expressions that I was making. I was looking at everybody else. Not too many people could sing like that.
Entertainment report.
Entertainment report.
They ready. They ready.
We do this so we can show other people's talent, and the talent that's inside them is what they love is inside of you, man. They point out their passion, they love outside of themselves, man. And 9 times out of 10, if a person is going for trying to reach a goal, there's something inside of them, they got to have help.
That's my friend. Like, we here. We here. We
Be More Pod, your liveliest destination. Come and join Dennis, Lene, and Joey every Thursday at 7 p.m. Your talent will make room for you.
Yeah. That's the Thursday night show. Make sure y'all go ahead and tune in tomorrow. Make sure y'all go ahead and tune in tomorrow, man. Good stuff. We appreciate y'all. Be More Pod. Y'all already know the Big Brother station right here. Keep it locked. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic of the night, man. I know a lot of y'all wanted to go ahead and get into it, and I ain't gonna waste no time, right? Look, this is Be More for Real. Leave your feelings at home because look, for real, we're gonna talk about it. For real, we're gonna get into it. And Most High, I hope He lead y'all and guide y'all to know that it's not out of ignorance, it's not out of racism, it's just merely presenting the facts before you. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna share the screen, and this time I think I'm going to be on it when I share the screen. Right? We're gonna go right head over into the topic of the night, and bear with me, right? Because I'm gonna talk about a lot of different aspects of these ICE raids and stuff like that. So bear with me. Let me go ahead and share this screen. Let me add that to the scene. I believe y'all can see that. So let's go ahead and play that. Let's see.
We begin tonight, though, with a live look in Los Angeles. Protesters by the hundreds spread to the freeways in and around downtown Los Angeles, blocking traffic. A series of federal immigration sweeps sparked heated protests across the city.
Let me know if y'all can hear that. Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that? If you can hear that, put a 1 in the chat. If you can't, put a 2. If y'all can hear that, put a 1 in the chat. If you can't, put a 2. If you can hear it, put a 1 in the chat. If you can't, put a 2.
The past 2 days.
Nearly 300 National Guard troops have arrived under orders from President Donald Trump. It's the first time in decades that a state's National Guard has been activated without a request from its governor. President Trump made statements today when interviewed, claiming protesters are spitting on troops.
When they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit.
What's the bar for sending Marines to
the bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order.
As we mentioned, this has been going on since Friday when a number of arrests, 44 arrests, were made in downtown L.A. in the clothing area at one of the clothing manufacturers there. And you're looking live now at the protests on Saturday where a car fire blocked an intersection. The protests center around confrontations between federal immigration officers and the protesters trying to stop them from carrying out detentions and deportations. So thanks for joining us on this Sunday at the News at 5. I'm David Rose.
And I'm Sabir Rayford. Reporter Evan.
All right, so that's it. All right. Okay. So that was that. We're gonna go ahead and clap it up for the realest news. We're gonna go ahead and clap it up for the realest news. And if this is your first time listening, make sure you go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Do your due diligence there. But okay, so we see what's happening in Los Angeles with the immigration and the protests. And trust me, I'm going to get into this, and it's gonna be extremely good, man. It's gonna be extremely good. And I want to hear y'all thoughts, and I want to hear y'all opinions because our opinions matter. But at the end of the day, this is BMore4Real. We're going to talk about the realest circumstances all the way around. Don't count me as one bias or another way. Regardless, we're just going to break the facts down. And shout out BMore4Real. So we're going to break these facts down, right? We're going to break the facts down. Okay, so first of all, let's just say this. Immigrants that are here illegally, and for some reason they highlight Mexican Americans, Latino Americans as the only immigrants, but surely they aren't the only immigrants out here. But okay, so legally, I want to say this. Legally, they are here illegally. Legally, they are here illegally. If that makes any sense. If you follow me, you follow me. But legally, they're here illegally, right? Also, on another note, America was taken over, and these people are the native indigenous people of the land. So keep that in mind, and let's keep that in mind at the same token, at the same rate that we view this land being the land of America. So with that being said, according to the government, according to ICE, and why they're doing these raids, is they saying that, okay, these are illegals, right? These people are here illegally. And remember, I keep saying that for a reason, but also this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. Again, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So they're going to say that, okay, these people are illegals, when in fact they are more American than any of us that came from Africa or Europe. So let's just keep that in mind for a fact, right? So what they're saying is, okay, these people are here illegally, which they are, right? And now we have a conundrum, and they breaking this down in Los Angeles, and they're starting to, I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they said that there are starting to be protests on the east side of Baltimore as well, because we're in Baltimore. BMore4Real is a double entendre. It's not just about Baltimore, but it's about being more for real about our surroundings, as you can tell. But we definitely focus on the city. So I've heard there are protests and stuff like that over east for immigration as well too. Now, what I want to keep in mind is, and what I want to say above all else is, we have to realize the plan of the enemy. Again, what I will say is, we have to realize what the plan of the enemy is. The plan of the enemy is to divide and to conquer. We have a lot of things going on, and we got comments already. All right, so look, let's just go ahead and get into it. We got a comment already. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Appreciate me. They said they are stealing. Excuse me. I'm sorry. They said. Appreciate me. They are stealing funds for the system we have created. They are not Americans, nor do they want to be. Now, that's an interesting thing. Wow. We're going to clap that up. Appreciate your comments. Spam the comments below. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because it's going to get dicey. It's going to be controversial. But my job here today is to facilitate this process of being I'm gonna say as non-biased as possible, just being more for real about the entire situation. And trust me, I got video evidence, so just stick with me and just stay with me, because I do have video evidence that I want you guys to see, and I want to give insight into a lot of the things that goes on surrounding this protest and stuff like that. So as we can see, we have the ICE raids and immigration down below, right? Now check this out. The America and Trump, this is where the black people had discrepancies and stuff like that, and other, I would say, Democrats, because you had some Latino people, right, who voted for Trump, and they saying, no, now ain't the time to say, oh, we messed up, and you voted against somebody that was against your best interest. And that's not the end of the deal, right? The beginning of the deal is that, first of all, the first people that we go after in deportation is the Latino Americans, the ones that's closer to America, right? Who happen to be more American than we are, more American than Africans. They are more American than Europeans. And like I said, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So a lot of my folk, a lot of my black people, you probably might get upset about what I'm saying. A lot of Hispanic people, you probably gonna get upset about what I'm saying. A lot of white people, you probably gonna get upset about what I'm saying. But my job here is not to brown nose anybody. My job here is to be more for real and present evidence to you in an unbiased fashion, so that way people can see from an unbiased standpoint and not what the media is trying to feed us, right? So we're gonna go ahead and clap that up, right? That's my job, that's my duty, to present to y'all, right? So as Appreciate Me said, though, that she said they stealing funds for the system we work for and stuff like that, which is important, right? Which is important. But before we go any further, right? I guess what I want to do, I want to share the screen, and we're gonna get into it. Let's go ahead and share the screen.
This on social media after he says he heard a Hispanic employee making racist comments in Spanish. The thing. Welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us tonight. First up tonight, a shopper at a Houston Family Dollar choosing to no longer be silent. And you probably saw this on social media after he says he heard a Hispanic employee making racist comments in Spanish. The thing is, he understood every word she said. Chico Dion was visiting the store last week. He says he heard an employee at the register tell another customer in Spanish that black people are always stealing at the store. Here's a moment he confronted that employee.
Man, you got to watch what you say when you say it. Because this is what I'm saying. Because you don't know who speaks Spanish. Yo soy cubano, ¿me entiendes? Pero yo soy cubano.
Okay.
Y cuando hablo de la gente negra, estoy hablando de mí también.
I was just saying.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you need to watch what you say.
I was just saying.
Okay, I'm just letting you know, though. When you talk about people, especially black people, man, watch what you're saying.
Hell of a defense. I was just saying, Chico, I was just saying. It's not clear what the status of the employee is at that Family Dollar. We've reached out to the company for a statement, but situations like this happen all too often. Another woman went viral in 2024 after sharing how she uses a language translator while visiting a nail salon. Is this our America where language barriers are assumed because of skin color?
Oh, we're going to get into it. Let's get to this comment. Appreciate me. He said, no. They said so many nationalities. Unfortunately, they have to be vetted to protect Americans. And I want you to elaborate on that in the comments. Let me know what you mean by that. We're going to go ahead and sound along for that. You already know. We appreciate it, right? But this is the core epitome of things that's going on, right? So when things are going on between other nationality of people, right, they expect the black folk to be a part of these protests. And let's be for real. I didn't bring up the videos because I don't want to incite different types of ways and stuff like that. And the video will be longer form. I want to get to a greater point. But trust me, there are videos out here where black people are telling other black people to stand down on these issues, right? Because when it comes down and when it's time for us to stand up for the issues that we fought for, when we fought for civil rights and stuff like that, as you saw earlier, right? When we fought for civil rights, there was nobody to stand with us and for us. And now remember, keep in mind, like I said, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So there are a lot of ways to break down this fashion and all this type of stuff. But what I would say that's most important to realize is that this was conspired or planned to be this way by the government and the powers that may be. See, they want everybody divided. So they know that, okay, so let me say this off rip. So if there was a race war to break out, right, you would have to choose which side you want between black or white. And there's going to be people in between, like the Asian community, like the black community, like the Hispanic and the Latino community, who all have been integrated with white influence as well. And they all tend to gravitate to the white culture or the white structure, as I should say. And people going to, oh, I know, like I said, white people, black people, all these people going to be mad at me, right? But my job is not to brown nose y'all at all. My job is to present the facts and be more for real about the whole situation. So let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen. Let me remove that from the screen. Let me go ahead and stop sharing that screen, right? And let me continue to delve into this topic, right? So when we look at how they expect us to be as black people, and I want y'all to do me a favor, right? To your friends, right, that may disagree or agree with you, I want you to bring this video up with them. Because for a lot of times we can't talk about the things that really matter because we're scared to step on somebody's ego or do whatever you may feel, whatever you may call it. But we are scared to speak up and be different because we have a different opinion because of our colleagues, because of where we work. And this is the platform where we present the opportunity from all different sides. Even if you agree or disagree, we present the opportunity for you to stand boldly before your claims without being disrespectful, of course, but stand boldly in where you stand at, and we're going to talk about it. And also, we're going to bring up call lines and stuff like that later, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for that. But it's imperative that we have these conversations because we only worried about entertainment and not education. This is how they tripping us up. As I digress, it's not the only way. It's media and propaganda, which is what I'm getting to. This media and propaganda. But before I go any further, let's go to send the icon. He said facts. He said they have people strategically placing bricks and stuff to riot. They are pushing the riots, which is crazy. The government is doing this intentionally. And we're going to go ahead and clap that up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And what I will tell you, like I said, a lot of this stuff is planned. Now, I'm not an anarchist. I'm not talking against the government and all this stuff. I'm not talking for the government. What I will say for the government is that if they deem these people as illegals, right, they are supposedly illegal, okay, then they are illegal. But let's look at the ramifications of legal and all that stuff, because according to my understanding, I could believe that the government said all men were created equal at the same time that they had slaves. Whoa. Whoa. I could believe that there was a time when that happened. And let's go to some more comments. Appreciate me. We appreciate the comments. Flood the comments. Let me know what y'all think, man. This is very important. Appreciate me said that there is no black, white. We are Americans. I'm in Florida and I'm 59. I have black, Asian, Latino friends. So many countries are wanting to take advantage of Americans and not our government. And we're going to go ahead and clap that up and appreciate that. From Florida. Appreciate you. Appreciate me. if that makes sense. I appreciate you, appreciate me. Keep flooding the comments, and like I said, whether you agree or disagree, that is absolutely fine. And this is one thing that we have to highlight, right? Because it's so very important. Although you're white and all that other stuff, there's a system that systemically oppresses us, and everybody who's behind that mask or masquerade of the government turns out to be white. Not in all cases, but in most cases. And so this is why I say this is Be More for Real. We're gonna put all our feelings to the side. We're not here to we're not here to disrespect people in any type of way, form, or fashion, or manner. We're just here to have a real straight up conversation because it's important and it is needed. There are a lot of things to get to, and we have some comments. Okay, so let's get to this comment. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Be real. He said, "How do you feel about these deportations? It doesn't matter how you feel. The law is the law." And I'm glad you brought that up. Great question. Great question. Great question. I appreciate the questions. Keep them coming. I appreciate the questions. I really do. So I feel like this, like the law legally, right? And this is what I said. I'm going to make points for the government, against the government. I'm going to make points for black people, against black people. I'm going to make points for Latinos and other immigrants, and I'm going to make points against them. I'm just here to present the facts because a lot of times we are brainwashed and propagandized by social media. So I will say, okay, if you're going off the legal ramifications, if you're going off of the legality of it, okay, they're here legally, and that's just what it is. You are deported. When they find you, they catch you, especially, I guess ICE says when you are a criminal, right? I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly, especially if you're a criminal and you out here. I mean, like, America already has enough criminals within inside its own borders. So on a government nationalist level, yes, I agree with deportations. But what I will tell you this is on a personal level, right? Now, on a personal level, America has stolen this land, and the fact that America thinks that it can still control this land is beyond me. The fact that there are people who act as government officials under the guise of racism is beyond me. See, racism still exists systemically. It is those laws that are oppressing the people. And see, just like how now, I would say that Latinos are not the only immigrants in America, right? You have a lot of European immigrants. Some people question whether Melania Trump is actually truly American. And I'm talking about the president's wife. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about Melania Trump. That's what I'm talking about, who's been missing in action, MIA from the White House for the last week or so too, by the way. But as I digress, see, America has created the illusion to the white people that this land belongs to you when in fact and indeed it doesn't. And so now you want to kick people out of the country where this was actually theirs before you took over it is crazy, right? But it's legal because the United States has this rule of law and these people have this rule of law. So that's the truth of the matter. This is Be More for Real. Look, I told you I'm not uplifting the government. I'm not going to downput the government. I'm just going to put the facts out there for you guys to see. But as I digress, right, we have the Latino Americans and stuff like that. And it's not just Latinos Americans, but this is what we're going to get into anyway. We're going to get into how they want, people of color or black people or however you want to guise it, they want us to stick up for them in their time of calamity when we've been dealing with the same system that's been oppressing us and created laws to oppress us for hundreds of years. And now it's ironic how they want to flip this on us. And this is why we have our people saying, no, don't join them protests out there. That don't belong to us. So let me help you understand the Latino American community on why black people will even acknowledge such an opinion. And like I said, it's not that I agree with the opinion or I disagree with the opinion, but the facts has to be stated nonetheless. We gotta be more for real. It's a double entendre. Yes, we in Baltimore, but we gotta be more for real about our environment, about our surroundings and everything. Look, I don't care what they say, what it means to be woke. To be woke means to be aware of what's going on around you. See, it doesn't have to do with your horoscope and your zodiacs and your moon rising, your sun rising. Being woke has nothing to do with that. Being woke has everything to do with being aware of what's going on around you. How do we know this, right? When you sleep, you are not aware of what's going on around you. Somebody can creep out the door, therefore you sleep. you're not aware of what's going on around you. When you're up and you're conscious, now you can see things move around you, and you're more conscientious about the things that's going on in your environment. This is the type of woke and awareness that I'm talking about. Okay, so we have another comment. I want to make sure I get to all you guys' comments, so please let us know. Okay, appreciate me said appreciate me said. Hold on one second. Appreciate me said, Americans are the bullies of the world. And bro, those days are long gone. You better be worried about your social security. And we appreciate that. Appreciate me. We appreciate that. You better talk. You better talk it. Senator Icon, my brother, Senator Icon, he said, how do you feel about Trump bringing in the National Guard? And I'm going to get into all that, the National Guard and bringing in the National Guard. And I'm going to say stuff that all sides do not like, and I already made that disclaimer. But let me finish my initial point of this is why black people are now starting to realize, okay, we can no longer fight for the rights of these people, because when the civil rights movement and things like that was happening, we couldn't get y'all to stick up for us. When the lynching and all of that stuff happened, we couldn't get y'all to stick up for us when that happened. But soon as Russia started bombarding the Ukraine, now it's everybody protest for the Ukraine. When something happens in France or Italy or in all those other nations, we give them the highest sympathy that you can ever give and be sympathetic of, but we never get the reciprocation of that. As I digress, let me go ahead and we're gonna share a screen, right? We're gonna share a screen, and so this is why black people feel the way that we feel when it comes time to protest and stick up for the other people and all that stuff. This is why we feel the way we feel. And let's go ahead and get into it. If y'all can hear it, put a 1 in the chat. If y'all can't, put a 2 in the chat. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do it.
So what a lot of people don't know is that Mexico is bordered with Guatemala.
Yes.
Okay? We don't let them in. So the same thing that America does to Mexico, we do to Guatemala. Okay? It just, the news is CNN, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, New York Post, they're never going to show you that. But just so you know, Mexico is extremely racist. So we have what are like
Guatemalans,
even to its own Mexicans. So you got to remember, Mexico was dominated by Spaniards. The only reason I look the way I look is because I'm 65% Spaniard.
Yeah.
Mexicans, like real Mexicans, or which is known as Mexica, not Mexico, Mexica, are 5'4", super dark with big noses and the heads pushed back. Aztecs and Mayans,
like Indians,
like Indians.
Yes.
Well, we're natives, right?
Yeah.
So we're blended. So the reality is, in Mexico, till this day, if you are not light complected, somewhat tall, you're frowned upon to this day. And by the way, they're very.
Oh, you have to be with a white guy because you have to perfect the race. Oh, your hair, like qué pelo malo. Ay, para ser una negra eres bastante linda. Oye, pero que negra fina. That's what it's like.
As an Afro-Latino, I've experienced all forms of racism. I've experienced racism that is very covert and passive.
Cuando uno va a solicitar trabajo, una de las cosas que te miran es el pelo. Te dicen que te tienes que peinar, pero ahora mismo yo estoy peinada.
I've also experienced direct racism, been called racial slurs. I've been told, why do I live in a certain neighborhood?
Cuando te dicen, ¿verdad?, que eres feo por no tener unas características semejantes a las características europeas, a las características blancas.
There's also a problem about colorism. It's people of the same race with different skin colors, and they don't recognize their own privilege.
A lot of white Latinos, they say, oh, how can I be racist? I have black in me. Oh, my great-granddaddy is black. But yes, you can be racist. Just because you use that excuse does not cover up the fact you are a white person and you have privilege over black Latinos.
I definitely have felt the privilege of being white passing. I don't think I realized it when I was a kid. From probably the day that I was born, people commented on que blanquita, que pelo tan lindo, que pelo tan lacio, all of these things about my appearance. And it wasn't until later on that I noticed, wow, this is actually something that is rooted in colorism and something that is rooted in racism, and something that might sound nice to me is actually perpetuating a system that oppresses others.
Okay. We said enough. We said enough so far. So far, so good. We have said enough. So far, so good. We have said enough. And this what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and read these comments. We appreciate the comments. Keep flooding them in because y'all matter. Y'all important. Whether you agree or disagree, we're gonna talk about it right here, right now. This is the platform without judgment where we're gonna be more for real and we're gonna have these conversations. So we have Biba La Biba. They said stolen land. Sorry, this land was conquered. Just like 100. Just like 100, I guess, percent of the land of earth. Alexander the thief, no. Alexander the Great. Loser mentality is stolen. General Santa Anna waved the white flag of surrender. I appreciate that comment. We're gonna clap that up. We're gonna clap that up. And to be honest with you, look, let me say this. Let me say this because you are right. The land was conquered. And so this is why people don't feel like people were slaves or what have you. They say that you are prisoners of war. Now, and that's a great point to make. The land of America was conquered. And we have another comment. It says, stolen land is a loser mentality. All land on earth was taken from someone. That is an awesome point to make. And I'm not, look, I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm going to give you your props, right? I'm not a hater. I'm going to give you your props. Yes and no. Yes and no, it is true. Now, in the capacity in which it's done as well is still debatable because, okay, if you go to war with another country and you straight up beat them, then yes, that's fine. But when you come over and you manipulate the people, as in Christopher Columbus, who we have Columbus Day, right? Christopher Columbus gave them blankets and gave them plagues and diseases, passive aggressive. This wasn't no war. This was strategically done to take over. So no, you got to look at it from both sides. This be more for real. We're gonna put our feelings to the side, emotions to the side, and we're gonna deal with what's real. So that's the truth of the matter. And the United States have done that worldwide, and so has the white race. So when people talk about the white race and white people, to go across the world and dominate in such a manner, in such a fashion, it creates it creates a border of distrust between the other races of people, and very well so warranted. So when you talk about that stuff too, and black people say, "Oh yeah, well, oppression and racism," but then you tell them we ain't never owned no slaves. Now that is something that's psychoactively it pisses us off. It's like gaslighting and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for the other races. But as you can tell, though, as I regress or digress, what I will tell you is that now you got immigrants, right, who treat their own people and stuff like that, kind of sort of like America treats other nations. But then you come here to America and want America to enforce some laws. Now, this is what's crazy. Look, this be more for real. Like I said, I'm going to piss a lot of people off. But let's say, okay, you do represent your country, right, and you come to America, right? Let's just say you do represent your country and you come to America, but you fled your country to come to America, but you raving the other country's flag in America like America's supposed to be the country that's supposed to switch and be like the country that you ran from and sought refugee from. That doesn't make sense. And I'm going to repeat that again. So the same country that you ran from, you're waving your flag in America about, right? Which doesn't make sense legally, right? It doesn't make sense politically. Like if you was trying to become an American citizen, let's just say that was your mission to become an American citizen and you seeking refugee in America, right? And you come over here waving whatever country flag that you from, wouldn't you say that's inappropriate? I will also say this. A lot of people don't want to say. In America, a lot of people speak English, even though the English language is not the primary language of America. Again, I'm going to say this again. English is not the primary language of America, yet and still, most Americans speak English. So when other people, it doesn't matter if you're Chinese, Korean, African, it doesn't matter what language you speak. When you're in a group of American people and you start speaking another language, it's oftentimes offensive. And it's offensive for a very good reason because we know under your breath you mumbling and doing all that other stuff, and we don't like it. And I would say this to the white people: if y'all don't like how they be speaking their language and all that stuff in America in front of you, if you don't like it and that piss you off, it should tell you about how black people feel about you in the system in reverse. So all of this stuff is interconnected. Trust and believe, and we gonna go ahead and clap that up. Look, this is the realest conversation on the net. This is your first time listening. Go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Trust me, I'm not gonna say anything that I don't truly fully believe, and I don't want you to do that either. We want to create a platform where people who believe whatever they believe, you can say what you want to say in a respectful manner, and we can talk about it, and we can discuss that. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. We want to create the platform where you feel comfortable with disagreeing and bringing the conversation to light, because this is how we grow. Nonetheless, this is how we grow. All right, so we got comments, and I really do appreciate the comments. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to all these in enough time, but let's go ahead and go through these comments. I really do appreciate the comments. Appreciate me. I'm speaking about appreciate. It say, hit the nail. The Spaniards from Spain invaded countries and brought slaves with them. White Americans get this label, all good, letting you know my Republican ancestors fought and died to free slaves. Again, they said, I need to read this again so I can understand this. It said, hit the nail. The Spaniards from Spain invaded countries and brought slaves with them. White Americans get this label, all good, letting you know my Republican ancestors fought and died to free slaves. I'm not saying they didn't. Appreciate you, appreciate me. I'm not saying that your particular ancestors didn't fight and to free slaves. And that's not what we're saying. And this is a crucial part about black people too, and I'm gonna lobby on behalf of our people, right? I don't like to argue. I like to put stuff into perspective. I like to reason, right? Reasoning is the highest form of argument, so to speak. The lowest form of argument is to argue back and forth. The second form of reasoning is subliminal, like with artwork and music and things like that. It's subliminal, it's not direct. But the third form and the highest form of reasoning is what they call the kitchen table level, where you apply what you know and see if it's true or false. So let's just say, okay, like for instance, we have the women talking about who would you trust in the world if you was in the forest? Would you trust a man or would you trust a bear? So you have a lot of women that make irrational decisions and say, look, I'm gonna trust a bear. We know that's irrational. We know that is just crazy and out your mind that you're gonna choose a wild bear over a man that can potentially protect you, or at least he would die in your place so you can get away. That makes no sense, right? It's the same thing with black people and white people and how the system has been, not just to even black people, but to what they call quote unquote minorities, right? Let's say that throughout time and history, most of the police, most of the white people you deal with in the system, most of the system that you deal with, these people have handicapped you all your life and kept you to a handicap. So now you're supposed to believe that this individual, a white person is good and all that stuff. Yes, that's true. That's true. Okay, you deal with them on an individual level, but as a whole, as a collective, you're not going to do that. Let's say that as a whole, as a collective, if you try to go ahead and pet an alligator, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get your ass bit. You're going to get your hand, and they're going to death roll and roll your hand off. Okay, so why would we just say, okay, we know we could pet this alligator. This alligator is nice. This a nice white alligator. This not like the rest of the white alligators. So we gonna treat all the rest of the alligators like this anomaly ass alligator. No, it does not make sense. It doesn't make survival sense for black people. And this is why we have to create a platform where we can talk about this without having prejudice. And I love how you brought that up, and I love how you disagree. Trust me, I love the disagreements, because now I know people being genuine. They're not just trying to brown nose people and not just trying to make sure you feel accepted. We need to have these conversations. So you can disagree with me all night long, and I'm going to appreciate that. Appreciate me. I'm going to appreciate that. So we got more comments as well. Biba La said, America stole Southwest Mexico. Who did Mexico steal it from? So they were the indigenous people. They were the indigenous people of the land. And so this is where you get native or indigenous people. And what we know, and that's a good question, and I'm not going to pretend to know it all, but what I will tell you is what I know. I'm never going to speak on something I do not know about, but I'm going to tell you what I do know. I know that the white people of this world originate from the mountains of Caucasus, a specific place in Europe. The rest of the world are inhabited by people that have shades of color. That's a fact. We are seen as the local minority, but as a global, we are the majority. And that's the illusion that they're trying to put on our people. And it's a reason why, to keep us down. They did it with Christianity. They've done it through all types of religion and stuff like that. But this is the truth of the matter. This is true history. And I'm not here to put, like I said, I'm not here to brown nose anybody or speak down to anybody or to any particular race, because trust me, we all got our own ish going on. I think we are better off as a people acknowledging that we do have certain prejudices. Everybody has prejudices. It's just that some people prejudice become racist, not some, but mainly white people become racist because your disdain for another race or another group of people impacts their social economical position in life. And so that's the difference. This is the reason why we can't define it the same. Matter of fact, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will make an extensive episode about it on the attack on English. See, English is not concrete enough for us to understand. We always talk in an abstract language. We can talk concrete in English only if we use our words in the correct manner. This is why when you go to court, most of us aren't lawyers, and they speak in clear English, we don't understand what the hell they saying. Did you hear what I said? I'm gonna say that again. This is why when we go to court, and they're speaking all this English, and we don't know what the hell they saying because we don't know the clarity of the language and of the law. This is a language law type of thing. But as I digress, these are a lot of subjects to touch because first of all, legally, I would say that the illegal immigrants are here illegally, right? So that's point number one. Point number one is that legally, the immigrants that are here illegally have a legal right by the United States government to be deported. That's facts, right? So now facts are different from the truth. Facts are different from the truth. For instance, like when I brought up that, okay, although America controls the land of America, this land was stolen and manipulated from the Native Americans, and it was built on the back of slaves. And so white people benefited off of all this stuff without reparations to Negroes. Okay, so who really should control this land? Who really owns all this stuff? Look at all the black inventions. Don't take my word for it, just look it up. I'm just saying, there's a difference between the fact and the truth. The fact is that legally, okay, Hispanics are here illegally. Yes, and legally, they have a legal right to be deported. Yes, true. True indeed. But now, this other side of where, and just as recently as I believe, what was it, about 1850 or so, they had the Spanish-American War where the United States asked Mexico to borrow the land that we know as Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, and a couple of those other lands, right? America had asked them, okay, can we use those lands for these settlers? And then when Mexico said, okay, your time is up, they say, no, these settlers didn't want to move. They started to have beef, and then America did something and pushed the Mexican side, and then the American-Mexican War started, and they pushed them out, and they basically usurped America, Texas, Oklahoma and Arizona and all those, New Mexico. They basically usurped that territory from the Mexicans. It's the Spanish-American War. Look it up. This is not my opinion. These are straight facts. This is the truth, as a matter of fact. These are historical facts. So when we look at the grounds, we can disagree with it or agree with it or whatever, but let's just put it like this. The Europeans nor the black people are really the native indigenous people. And black people are more indigenous to the land of America than white people because you guys didn't set foot over here until the New World. And so these are facts. We see it in the ancient artifacts, all this other stuff. Look, I'm not here to brown nose none of you people. I'm just here to present the facts, right? I'm just here to present the facts, whether you agree or disagree. But now look, these ice raids, right? with these ICE raids, what they want us to do, right, is they want us to divide. What they're doing right now is divide and conquer, right? So we want to pin the white people against the black people because it's like an impending race war is coming out right now. It's like they want an impending race war right now. And so what's happening is that if the race war was to break out, Asian people, who you gonna choose to be with? You gonna choose to be with the white folks? You gonna choose to be with the black folks? Latinos, who you gonna choose to be with? You gonna identify with the white folks? You gonna identify with the black folk? And so this is the plan of the enemy. I'm not saying all white folk are like this. So get this out your head. If that's what you're thinking, don't think that. Only listen to the words that I'm saying and take the words that I'm saying for what I'm saying. That's it. Don't do no extracurricular activity and as far as your thoughts and all that stuff. Only stick with what I'm saying. We have a pending war breaking out, and we've known for a long time. And see, this is why even other nations of folk, they come over here and they choose to identify as Caucasian because they understand the benefits that come with being identified as Caucasians. And before I even go on,
Latinos and Mexicans.
We're gonna go ahead and share this video. Let's go ahead and share this video because I'm running out of time. Let's go ahead and share this video. I know y'all can see that, right? Y'all can see that. Let's go ahead and put this full screen. Boom.
Latinos and Mexicans deliberately stayed out of the civil rights movement. They waited on the sidelines until the benefits of the bill was reaped, and then they came out, not claiming they were black, but were minority. In fact, one of the reasons the word minority was introduced into the political jargon was to effectively describe people of African descent who didn't want to be African. So minority was a catch-all that allowed people to still get the benefits of being a person of color, but not having to identify with African people.
That's like Hispanics. You see, some Hispanics, many Hispanics have brown skin, but they will put on the census white. And if you ask them why did they put down white, and they say because white is where the power is.
Hey, I need that sound effect. I need that sound effect, man. I need that sound effect from what's that movie called? What's that movie called? They just came out with the black producer. Sinners. I need that. I need that song. But we got comments. We got comments. Appreciate me. You've been with me all night, and I appreciate you as well. Appreciate me saying, and my only niece is half black. My grandson is also half black. I'm in the South. How many generations have to suffer before there is no prejudice? Oh my goodness. Appreciate me. I really appreciate the questions. Like, yeah, I appreciate you. Like, I really do. Great question. So you asking how many generations? Black people have suffered this for hundreds and hundreds of years. You got to understand that we run in a race that we hundreds of years behind. When we have been systemically oppressed, I've heard a lot of the white people and the Caucasian people, to be more politically correct, I've heard a lot of the European Americans say, oh, well, you know, we've never owned a slave and stuff like that and things like that. The thing is that there are still people and there are still Americans that benefit off of it. The reason why a lot of the suburbs and, you know, the rural areas and the farmers and all that stuff are white is because of the redlining and other laws that took place back in the day. So you still have people today in 2025 that still benefit from the privilege that they gave white people back in the day. And you wouldn't understand that because you're not black, and you wouldn't understand that the stuff that black people built, the white people have fought so hard to destroy even as early as the 60s. You have to remember that black people weren't even able to legally vote until 1965. So there are people that are probably as old as you are right now who only became able to vote in 1965, if not older than what you are. So that's the truth of the matter. And like I said, I'm not This is Be More For Real, man. This is Be More For Real, brought to you by way of Real Explosions, rated R for reality. This is the realest conversation on the net. So if you never heard this, if this is your first time hearing this, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button, man. It's essential. It's important so we can keep on creating more content and we can continue on making sure that people's voice is heard. That is essential to us. Whether you agree or disagree, alike, you all are welcome. You all here to be more for real. Let's be more for real about our circumstances. Let's be more for real about our situations. But now, like Dr. Umar was saying, he was saying that, you know, Mexican Americans and stuff like that, they never identified with the black people and with our struggles and all that stuff, and even Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And so we as black people that have been in tune with our ancestors and researching the things that our ancestors have been through, this is what we have been taught by our ancestors and what we have been shown. When it comes time for us to stand up for our rights for the world, where is the world when it comes to stand up for our rights? But now you want us to be involved with your political stuff for your motivation, only for us to be rejected at the table after you get your reparations, and we won't get ours, which is crazy. That is crazy work. That's crazy work. And that includes that includes the Latino community as well. Now, I'm not saying that white people or black people, that none of us need to stick together, we all need to be separate. That's not what I'm saying. Like I said, take my word for what I'm saying, and don't try to make up in your mind what you think that I'm saying. Take my word for what we're saying. So if our plight and if our struggle is with the system, why not attack the system? The problem is that there's too many people out here that are part of the system. When you get up into those systems, it's your job to change those laws and fight for those types of freedoms. It's those people that remain silent when they get into those positions because out of fear that they're going to lose their job or they're going to be ostracized on social media and get all these type of threats. It's those people that are a threat to this type of freedom. It don't care if you're white, black, and all this other stuff. You work for a system that's continually, systemically oppressing the people. It don't matter what color you are. We all eat the same food, except for a very few that know what foods to eat and haven't been tampered with. How much more do we need to see before we really need to realize that we get more bees with honey than we do with vinegar? I think that the ancestors are rolling over in their graves because there are even, excuse me, there are even white people, there are Asian and Indian people that have fought for various freedoms of all groups and demographics, but we don't know them and we don't acknowledge them because the media won't put it out there. It's not their job to. It's our job to do the research to say, oh, well, this particular group, they actually might be for us. They might have our best interests at heart. It's too many of us that's scared because we're trying to protect our jobs, we're trying to protect our way of life, we're trying to protect our income, our ego, and our social status, so much that when we see injustices that we become silent. And this is what the people mean, that your silence speaks volumes. Your silence speaks volumes. If we want change in this and we starting to think, oh, we all in this together, okay, then yeah, we all in this together. But the moment you got all this riffraff, then people start to wondering. And to be honest, the system being made by white people, they were the ones that are behind the helm. The white people control all the pieces to the board. So at the end of the day, everybody gonna be looking at the white man like, yo, what's up? Because you control everything. But at the end of the day, is nobody gonna be like, oh, we gonna stop spending, we gonna stop doing this enough for the white man to really pay homage and respect us. It's been going on too long. It's 2025, man. It's 2025. And I'm not saying all white people are like this, but these are the people that control the government. What is the issue? What is the problem with seeing that, with realizing that? The only issue, the only problem is maybe because the enemy probably looks like you in the mirror. Even for black people, when you are in these offices, because damn sure Latinos do it, the Jewish people do it, and the white people do it too. When you get in these offices and you can't even benefit your own people because they do that themselves. It becomes taboo when we do it. It's cool when you do it, but it's a problem when we do it. It's nepotism. Like this whole country hasn't been built off of nepotism. And you want to stigmatize and do all this stuff. That's propaganda. I hope we realize how the media is propaganding us people. Because us people that stand for the righteous, us people that stand for the wealthy, not the wealthy, us people that stand for the righteous, us people that stand for those who cannot talk for themselves, those who cannot hear, the disabled, us people that stand for the truth, we are often neglected. We are often seen as crazy. They're going to make us out to seem like we are the ones that's crazy. And that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm sorry. I know we got comments. I appreciate the comments. I ain't gonna be here before long. Hypogastrum says that, hey, I'm black and my uncle be talking about how our white granddad did this thing called buck breaking, and he go on and on about it. What is it? Wow. Yeah. Straight facts, brother. Straight facts, brother. And he said, "You so right." I appreciate that. Good question. Good question. Good question. Buck breaking in his literal sense was literally when the white people had slaves and the white man would he would sexually assault the black man, oftentimes in front of his family and stuff, to break him in front of his wife, especially. If this your husband and all this stuff, I'm going to, break his back. Similar to what they do in jail and in prisons. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they do it or the thought process behind it, but the buck break you is basically to take your manhood. And oftentimes it was done in front of your spouse and your children. So that's what buck breaking is. And there's a social buck breaking going on. That's what the government does with the propaganda. Everybody's being buck broken, even white people are forced into some white guilt or white shame and stuff like that for things and atrocities they have not created. So if they didn't create that social buck breaking, you would not think that the way you think. See, now, in all honesty, and this is what people seem to realize. I don't care what social media telling you. I don't care what your pastor's telling you. I don't care what evolution telling you. The reason why we here as humans are to populate with our own species, to repopulate the earth and take care of the earth and repopulate so future generations would live on. See, nowadays they're pushing the LGBTQ community and stuff like that, and there's no offense to that. There's no offense to them at all. But what I'm telling you is, if everybody was that way, the earth would not last. So we've lost our basic instinct of survival. To be honest, we're worse than animals because animals have this basic instinct to survive. They get food, water, shelter, and they procreate in order to preserve their genes. And I think that humans have lost this capacity with all this social media and all this glamorous stuff. And we've gotten away from the natural use of man and the natural use of women to whereas though now we fight over natural gender roles. Whereas though we fight over what a natural gender is. And like I said, this is not throwing shots at the LGBTQ community and all that stuff, but it makes no sense to teach our children about LGBTQ and all that stuff before they find out how they got here, which is through heterosexual procreation. All this stuff is a planned device for us, and there are people that work behind these frames in the government. They are literal people, and so we treat the government, right, like it's really a person, but it's not. The government is its own person that's a conglomerate of people. It's a melting pot of people that put forth these laws to govern us. And so if let's do this. Who said this? Adam Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong. He said, when the government fears the people, there is tranquility. But when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. I'm going to say that again. Andrew Jackson said, when the government fears the people, there's tranquility, but when the people fears the government, there's tyranny. So now, this is why people, and you talking about the social buck breaking, remember, Hypo, and I remember your question, you talking about the social buck breaking. So this is what happened to the black community. So many of us have been ostracized, we've been hosed down, we've been assassinated like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We've seen many of our ancestors being assassinated to the point where as though now none of us want to speak up for social injustices. We'd rather join the team instead of really standing up for what's right. We've been socially buck broken. See, a lot of the Hispanic people and all this stuff, the reason why they voted for Trump, who was against their best interest, because they've been socially buck-broken. They've been propagandized to think that, okay, these people have your best interests at heart. It's the same thing that goes on in the white communities with the trailer park trash and all this stuff. You think that you get some type of privilege because you white. No, you've been socially buck-broken. There's no privilege for you. Now it's classism. Oops, I introduced you to another frying pan. Now we got another form of class. We got another form of separation between the higher-ups and the inferiors. This is the world that we live in. And until we start to get it right, until we start to take social media for what it is, a game and entertainment, we will never be educated. Not saying there isn't education on the internet, but a lot of it is not being explained to us properly and correctly. So in terms of this immigration and stuff like that, I'm gonna wrap it up because I've been on here long enough. In terms of this immigration and stuff, right? And we got another comment. It said, damn, granddad been weird at Thanksgiving. Unc say he's still at it. Oh, wow. Okay. Shucks. Well, hypogastism, we just gonna do that. I feel for you, but this is a real conversation nonetheless. Whether you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think, because at the end of the day, and now look, I'm gonna sum this all up, right? In a few different ways. It's not going to agree with anybody. Let's just present all the sides, right? So we have what they call illegal immigrants here, right? Illegal immigrants a lot of times take their jobs, and Americans should fear that type of stuff, because they can work for pennies on the dollar, and their dollars that they send in the country to is not as valuable as American dollars, so they can work for less than you do and still make more at the same time, and they all make out, and they sending American money back to other countries. So if you are a complete American and a nationalist, yes, immigration, it threatens the very economy of America to the extent where, as though, if you keep on building your backs off cheap labor like we do, which is why we in cahoots with China and stuff, if you keep on building the backs off of cheap labor and finding out the cheapest contract that you can get to get the work done, then you're going to be ultra dependent on them, and you're going to leave the American citizens out. The people that, can't afford, we live in America, and we're not sending money back to other countries. We cannot afford those type of pay cuts and stuff like that, because bills are only getting higher and higher. So now you are forced into a place where, in order for the rich and elite, for their pockets to continue getting fatter, you got to keep on hiring these people that's doing contracts, doing all this under the table work, because these people are illegal immigrants, and their money doesn't mean as much in America as their money means more in their country than it does in America. I want to make sure I get to these comments, man. Let's get to these comments. What does this say? Iggy. Iggy, I appreciate it. It said, there's a narrative used to gain sympathy and used to cover the huge wrongdoing, letting people pour inside. People who aren't this are fraud, because they are all seeking economic asylum, not political. Again, let me read that so I can understand. And I appreciate your comment, Iggy. Let me go ahead and do that for you. I appreciate that. Said, there's a narrative used to gain sympathy and to cover the huge wrongdoing, letting people pour inside. People who aren't this is a fraud. Because all are seeking economic asylum and not political. Again, we appreciate y'all comments, man. We appreciate y'all comments. It's ultra important. It is ultra important. And yes, Iggy, there is a narrative used to gain sympathy, and it is used to cover all the wrongdoing from the governments and all the other political people. And that's what I was saying as well too. On the flip side, when we look at all the immigrants and all that other stuff, we got to look at the narrative used to cover the wrongdoing of taking land and oppressing people and having slavery and not giving reparations. We got to look at all this stuff that's used to cover all the wrongdoings and use to gain sympathy for the other side. That is a fantastic, awesome point that I'm gonna clap up again. That is a fantastic, awesome point. Hypogastrum says, I think I be getting socially buck broken by these dudes English. What is he saying? We gonna go ahead and clap that. Look, the English language, and see this is the truth of the matter, man. Let me go ahead and put that down. But this is the truth. So what he's saying, and I think I already elaborated too. Iggy, if I'm wrong, let me know. If you can do some elaboration, let me know in the chat. But that's actually important. You know what I'm saying? You got people that are seeking economic asylum from their countries and not political, and they're not literally here for America and what America has going on. They there for their own personal gain. And so that's what I was saying as well too. That's another BMore4Real side to look at it as well too. When you come into America and you waving another country's flag, is that not disrespect? Do other people come in your countries and wave their country's flag in your country and expect your country to treat them like they in their country, or do you go ahead and assimilate to their culture? I just want to know, because that seems kind of ass backwards, especially if you asking something of America, something like citizenship. That does not make sense for my Latino Americans. No shade or none of that. I don't want no shade or none of that. Trust me. So Iggy said, he said more. They let them to lie saying I need asylum because of political. So I guess because of political. They said, sorry, I'm driving. It's all good. Man, make sure you don't crash, man. You don't have to drive in tight, man. I think they got something now where you can press the for whatever it's worth, you can press the mic button on your phone and you can talk into your phone and it will type what you're saying. But there's some complications with that too. But I still appreciate your comments nonetheless, Iggy. And this show after it's gonna be recorded, y'all can go ahead and comment on the post after this, because these conversations are important. This is something that we need to have as a nation of people, or else we're gonna fall apart. We're gonna let the enemy divide and conquer us like the enemy set out to do. But the truth is, they are economic asylum seekers. And I don't disagree with you on that. I don't disagree with you on that at all. But at the same time, when you come to America, it does make sense that you would do some things as American and not try to wave off the country that you ran from on us. It just doesn't make sense to try to rub off the country that you ran from and then seeking whatever form of asylum that you're seeking. It does not make sense that you would come here and try to make it like that. So let's just be more for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what the media is going to portray stuff like that as, you know, nationalists, as American, oh, America's a melting pot and all that stuff. But if you're one nation and you one nation, you're not going to be waving another nation's flag. And that goes for the racist white people, too, that be waving the Confederate flag, which was not the American flag. And so it's the same concept. And this is what I say. I don't like to argue. I like to do stuff I like to reason. I like to apply stuff on the kitchen table level, because it applies all the way around. You know, if I'm cutting this onion like this, I'm cutting a potato it applies all the way around. We at the kitchen table right now applying what we know. So it doesn't make sense, especially a country that the other country done defeated, to wave that country in your face like, yo, I'm still here. Like, I don't know. What you expect the other country to do? Let you stay? I don't know. Let me know. But anyway, Iggy says, and the status of economic asylum doesn't exist at all. I get what you're saying. I'm picking down what you're putting up. It's not a term. They haven't coined it as a term. And shout out to you, Iggy, for coining that term. So if you're talking about economic asylum and all that stuff, you heard it first here on BMore4Real podcast, but you heard it from Iggy. Shout out to that. That's important. There are a lot of terms. There are a lot of things that the United States refuse to acknowledge, and they want us to be dumbed down. But I want us to be educated. I want the education to be entertainment as well. This is infotainment. This is made to educate you and entertain you at the same time. Let's continue with these comments, man. Y'all going off in the comments. He said the burden of letting in. Hold on, I'm sorry about that. Let's get back up there. It said the burden of letting in and allowing them to lie. Right. And I can see what you're saying, Hypo. He said, is there a language barrier? It's not. It said, great chat. Nelson Natley, man. Great chat. Awesome, man. We appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and clap that up for you. You know what it is. If this is your first time listening, man, a lot of y'all, I haven't seen or whatever, and I would appreciate to have y'all back. We live here each and every single Wednesday. We rated off for reality, brought to you by way of Real Explosions. This is the realest conversation on the internet. So go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We're going to talk about a lot of things that you agree with and that you don't disagree with. But the problem is that we don't talk about it at all. And that's our initial problem. That it first starts with education, and it starts with the conversation. Iggy says that I warned Texas state troopers about the TDA October 2023. You're going to have to tell me what the TDA is. I can't really think about what this stuff is right now. But when we think about it as a totality, though, America is in shambles. A country divided, a house that's divided against itself will not stand. So if we're going to stand for certain things, if we're going to say, okay, the people who enter this country illegally should not be here legally and they should be deported, we all need to at least stand up for that, you know what I'm saying, as Americans. Because if America divides against itself and you have other countries that's coming in like China and Russia, and trust me, wars is breaking up between them too. And they know that they can come into America and they say, oh, I'm going to divide this, that, and the third. I'm going to divide this section with that section. America's going to get flipped on its head, which is about as possible as you can believe it right now. That's about where we hit it. That's about exactly where we hit it. He says, what is this? Trende Aragua. Trende Aragua. Look, I don't speak Spanish like that. Trende Aragua. Yeah. We appreciate the comments. But look, man, this be more for real. I probably done ran over time a little bit much, but look, good conversation, good chat with you guys, man. If this is your first time, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Oh, you know what? Before I leave, I wanted to make a point too. Because, no, you know what? I'm going to say that for next time. Y'all just going to have to keep up with the series. Y'all don't have to keep up with me. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button and all that good stuff. I got to go. I got to get out of here. Izzy, they spamming the chat. They said, please note this. Many people ask themselves what sort of crime they do. Yeah, you're going to have to let me know. You're going off in the chat. But if you could, if y'all could just hit them comments up, spam them comments after this, hit that like button. Or if you don't like it, hit that dislike button if you disagree. It don't matter. It's all the same to me. But get a reaction out of it so YouTube can feed this to the algorithm. This is BMore4Real. I'm your co-host, OMG Danny, man. Realest conversation on the net, man. Y'all know what's up. BMore4Real.